Hi there, Thack from Thack Ironworks. Welcome back to the channel. Round 2 on the Banshee face. Today I will be sculpting hair for this. So remember for the last video I raised out the face here, got my screaming face, which I'm quite pleased with. Now what I need to do is put the hair on. This, remember, is going on the front of my Forerunners roof racks. There's a 45-degree slanted piece of steel, and this will be laying on there like that. So let's begin. Come down to the table here and let me show you what I'm thinking. So again, my motif is kind of inspiration wise Art Deco, so I'm thinking 1930s automotive is kind of where I'm going with that, but with of course the wild screaming Banshee effect as well. So I made some hair here. I just did out a little motif of some stylized hair. I want something that is very symmetrical, kind of creepy looking, at the same time simple enough that it will just kind of fit into place there. Came up with this. I did these kind of flame motifs, much like the hot rods from the 60s, 70s kind of paint jobs and stuff like that. So this is kind of where I'm going with this vibe here. So this, what I want to do is make a piece of metal that will be sculpted that will fit over top of her little bald head here and fit on like that. Was going to do bronze, but I'm kind of getting short on bronze. It's more expensive than other metals that I have, so I thought maybe brass, mix it up a bit. So we've got the bronze with the brass, both of those on an exterior mount there. It's going to weather. They're both going to turn kind of chocolate brown if I leave them, and then eventually if I leave them too long, the verdigris will set in and they'll start greening up. So I expect them to brown out and both become relatively the same color and blend pretty much into the black background of the steel. So it's going to be kind of a subtle sculptural thing, and every now and then when I'm feeling frisky, I will buff out the highlights, pull up that, and just see what it looks like. So I'm interested to see how this thing weathers and how it, you know, and how I decide to maintain or lack thereof for its finish. Anyway, enough chit chat. So I've got this, as I said, my stylized hair here. From there I took some plasticine and did a tracing of the hair there, and there we got it like that. Flip it around so it's the correct way for you. And I just tried to rough up a 3D of what I'm trying to do with this. Now, the hair style is stylized. Sculpting hair is always it's much more subtle and tricky than you might think, and it's something like, and like doing clothing on a sculpture is also a very mystifying sort of operation to try to do, and it's not something that I've developed that much. This, I wanted to do something that sold the idea of hair fairly quickly, but actually is fairly quick for me to do. I don't want to spend several days, you know, doing very detailed hair. I don't think it's really important for the perspective of where this is going to be seen, the 15-foot rule. This is kind of like on stage. You know, stage makeup is very garish, and you know, you see someone close up that's got stage makeup on, or if you've got a kid that's in dance or cheer or something like that, when they got their makeup on, they look like a clown when you're standing right next to them. But on stage it sells, it's appropriate. So what I'm trying to do is big shapes that will convey the hair message that I am trying to send out. Let's just slip this in here just for fun and see. Damn it. Okay, something like that is what I'm going for. And we're done. How do you like it? Kidding, of course. I'm just, I've now got it roughed onto the head there. It's now cloaking that properly and then coming down here flat. I just need this to dry off a little bit so that I can Sharpie in my outline, and then I can start roughing in the sculpture. Okay, pass number one. I've just kind of roughed everything out there now. I'm going to start refining. So there's pass number two. Just want to grab something here. So when we did the first video and it came out, a lot of comments, a lot of positive feedback, which thank you for that. And one of the suggestions for hair was a Medusa thing, which got me thinking, hey, I made a shield probably, I'm thinking 15, maybe 18 years ago. So here's a shield that I made with Medusa stylized head, and this is the way I did the treatment on the hair in this thing, and got me thinking about where I did these stylized snakes that kind of transitioned into a more conventional hair style there, and I think it works reasonably well for what it is, but trying to get hair that is believable I don't know, it's fiddly. That's all I can say about that. So anyway, I thought this was cool. Not doing Medusa hair for this one, obviously, doing more the lobster claw flame hair, but I think this is going to look pretty cool. You can kind of see the effect now. Now a long, boring process of just refining this. It's not like doing a face where you got that gratuitous payoff of, you know, things actually taking a dramatic shape. This is all kind of meh, you know, but I'm going to persevere. So I believe that's pass number 3 now, and we basically defined it, and I'm trying to keep this simple and stylized, so I'm starting to get the shape in there. Just basically like a low ridge on all these pieces, and I think that's working. I don't think we need much more than that. We've got an overlap here, so I'm going to pull this, anneal it, and push forward a couple things and then back in place and redefine it. I may not have to do any pitch backer for this. I've been finding working on the actual piece here has been sufficient for me to get what I need. I will be cutting out the widow's peak here, and then cutting out all the rest of it as we go. But I think it's shaping up pretty good. Like I said, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. I just want to sell the idea of the stylized hair, and I think we're in the ballpark now. The next pass might be enough, or perhaps one more after that. So while I'm doing this, I tend to get lost in thought, get into reveries and stuff like that. My inspiration for this entire thing was the whole screaming. You remember from the first video I was talking about, I was working out and I was listening to Ted Nugent's Scream Dream, and I was wearing my Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance. And I'm thinking of other screaming songs with scream in the title, and another one that comes to mind for me is a band, Canadian band. You guys in the wide world there might not know of them, called Exciter. They're from the 80s. I think they were like, you would term them as a speed metal band, but they had a song, Wake Up Screaming, which I just love that one. That's another good screamer. So those three are probably my top 3 songs with scream in the title. My best scream, I'm probably gonna have to go with the standard Rob Halford, and early on when they did Victim of Changes, and the scream at the end of that song is just like, still gives me chills. I think, you know, that really kind of set the bar, and I would say that Halford is probably the best screamer in the heavy metal world. So let me know what you think in the comments there, you fellow metalheads. I know not everybody's into that, and if you're not, you can just disregard this portion of the video. If you are a metalhead, let me know what your favorite scream is. I'm curious to know that. Just a little aside while I'm here in my boring part of doing the hair. So here, let's continue on. Okay, so I think I'm going to do one last pass, which means one more annealing, and then I just want to push out a couple details. I think I'm pretty much there. I don't need any more crispness other than a few points here. I think I've got enough to illustrate what I'm trying to do here. You'll notice that I've been using the actual face or the head in behind there as my backer, so I had something that was actual for getting that shape in there, because I do believe it's important that the hair drop down and follow the skull in a believable manner, and this is the most convenient thing to do that. I've done a little bit of denting and stuff like that in doing that, but I think I can just kind of tap that out as I will cut this out and put it in place there. But it worked quite well. It gave me a real-time illustration of what was happening and how this was playing off the face and everything like that. So home stretch as far as shaping, and then we have some cutting out. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see how these pieces come together. Okay, so something like that. So I just quickly buffed out the brass there to get a little bit of a contrast. I guess we got a blonde Banshee now. Which I suppose is kind of Irish. I think of Irish more as the brunette, but what do I know? They're a perplexing culture. I can sure say that. So I'm pretty happy with what I've got here for my finished product. Now I'm waiting for my roof rack to come back from the galvanizer, then it has to get powder coated and mounted onto my vehicle, and then we will mount this on the front, and I will use probably some brass bolts to put the whole thing in. Not really sure on that, but I believe that it will go on there quite nicely. So let me know what you think. This was a relatively simple project for me, but it has a lot of cool details, and I think it has a very dramatic effect to it. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this one. Check us out on Patreon. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're doing watching this channel. You better subscribe right now. And that's it. So next time, see ya!